Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Wess, Foreman, and I like to paint. I paint with acrylic paints on canvas usually, sometimes more of a hardboard like a masonite. I like to paint abstract things, but usually based on a photograph, coming at it from that angle. With this painting, I'm kind of starting off with just laying down paint in the general shape of the photo that I'm looking at off screen. And I'm not concerned at all with details. And oftentimes I will mess the painting up again, like I do in this one, dripping paint of different color down the front of it, just to mess it up so I can correct it again. And this kind of forces me to pay closer attention to the shapes on the reference photo to get the painting more in line with the reference photo. And I'll leave a lot of the streaks of paint drippings going down the canvas visible in the final painting, just for interest, because I like how it looks. Sometimes I end up painting over all of it, in a sense redoing the painting from the beginning. Another thing with this particular painting is getting the textures right was important to me. Bearded dragons have very reptilian, scaly skin, a lot of ridges and spikes and little details in the skin that I don't know, I thought that's what captivated me when I took the photo, and so I was wanting to get that on canvas as well. And I think I achieved it, but the tricky part is not getting stuck in the minutia of getting the details exactly right. What you're kind of going for is I don't know what a pastiche, if that's the word for it, of the overall look and feel. You're going for a simulation of reality, if you will, like not drawing every single dimple in the skin, but using techniques like dry brushing, where you remove a lot of the water from the paint and you're just kind of running the brush lightly over the surface, and that leaves a texture behind that isn't exactly what lizard skin looks like, but can approximate it. And so that's one technique. Another technique is just leaving all the a lot of the messy parts, the drips and other things in the background of the painting. And then also just using kind of the side of the brush to dapple in the paint. Again, with the dry brush technique of lightly skimming the surface of the canvas. I think that works here. I started off in painting more realistic, or with a realistic goal in mind with my paintings, trying to get what I saw in real life onto the canvas as accurately as possible. And I remember early on trying abstract painting, not really understanding what it was, and ending with something that I didn't like. I think painting abstractly is very difficult, and at least for me, required me to kind of learn how to paint naturally, realistically first, and then I slowly eased into the abstract world, I can remember starting with like outlining things a little more with just black paint, or emphasizing texture a little more, or changing the color of the various elements of the painting. Little things like that first, and then I've had a few paintings where it's been more non-objective abstract art, but most of the time when I try those out, coming at it just out of my head, out of my imagination, that seems to not work as well. Usually even the non-objective abstract pieces that I've done have started from a reference photo, have started with an idea in mind, and even then they don't all come out the way I want them to, or successfully in my mind. And this painting, you know, some people might say it's not abstract, but to me it's, you know, totally abstract. It's not a realistic or naturalistic representation of the lizard. You wouldn't see this painting and think it's a real bearded dragon. You would think of it as it's obviously a painting of a bearded dragon. I think leaving all the drips in, you know, obviously makes it abstract, for one thing. And the heightened color, obviously bearded dragons are just kind of gray. They're various shades of cool gray. But anyway, I enjoyed this painting. The video is not necessarily that exciting, but it was a fun little painting to do, and it came out a little differently than I had expected it to, or had wanted to. I was going for a more loose style this time, but the way it turned out, in my mind, looks a little more rigid and tight, like the actual rendering of the image looks a lot more carefully orchestrated than I intended it to, but I like the way it came out, and I'm happy with it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Click the like button if you liked this video, especially if you liked this voiceover of me talking about the painting process. I think I'll try to do more of these in the future, but if I get more likes on this video, then I'll know that that's something that people want to hear. If you don't like it, you know, tell me you prefer the music part. Maybe I'll leave that in. And click subscribe at the bottom too if you'd like to see more in the future. Thanks.